Ever since Colorado passed the Towing Bill of Rights to protect people from predatory towing, advocates say booting cars has now become more prevalent, and that the people being targeted are those who can least afford it.
And Denver 7 Investigates has exposed limited regulations around booting, and it's a problem consumer investigator Jacqueline Allen found state lawmakers are now trying to solve. Jacqueline.
That's right, you guys. For years now, I've been covering allegations of predatory towing and booting in Colorado, and for years, state lawmakers have been chipping away at this problem with towing. And now they tell me the seedy side of booting is on their radar.
It's actually been really demoralizing.
At Fox Ridge Farm Mobile Home Park in Arapahoe County, parking is a problem that people who live here say ends too often like this. People aren't allowed to park on the streets here.
No. And then, as you can see, most of the streets are pretty wide.
Community advocate Dre Cheater Bogaflora sent us these photos showing car after car booted. She says one woman here was in the middle of unloading groceries in front of her own home.
So she just parked for a few minutes to unload her groceries, and in a matter of that time, her car was booted. For us, it just feels like a predatory practice.
Denver 7 Investigates has been exposing towing and booting practices for years.
It seems like they're holding our car hostage.
And while lawmakers have since passed a towing bill of rights that protects consumers from bad tows, advocates say it doesn't cover certain types of booting.
And what's interesting is a lot of the predatory behavior we saw in big towing is now also present in booting.
Zach Newman with the Community Economic Defense Project says the problem is private companies can immobilize cars with little state oversight or consumer recourse when things go wrong.
Why are these booting companies doing what they're doing?
Because they make money. They only earn money, they only make money when they put boots on cars. So what are they incentivized to do? To boot more cars.
In fact, in the last 3 years, the Public Utilities Commission, which regulates booting, has received almost 90 complaints. State records show the PUC has proposed a change to address the gap in booting regulations that only cover devices that immobilize wheels. State lawmakers are also drafting a bill to take control away from the booting companies and require property owners and managers to approve boots. The bill would also allow people to pay a percentage of the booting fee up front and the rest over time.
Is this a solution to the issues with booting?
We hope so, and we think so. A boot on your car should not be what stands between you and paying your bills or getting to work. And so we've got to bring these fees down so that people can get that boot off for an affordable amount of money.
We're really excited about this legislation. These fees, these inconveniences could really impact working class families negatively.
An interesting note, advocates tell me with towing, the argument was we've got to move these cars for safety so people can park. But when you boot a car, it's not going anywhere, and that has an extreme impact on Colorado's working families. So a House committee will be hearing that booting bill next week. We'll keep following it as well. For Denver 7 Investigates, I'm Jacqueline Allen.
And Jacqueline, regulating the towing industry and even now parking boots has become really a priority for lawmakers. And you also shined a light on the towing practices of Wyatt's Towing, a company that recently was sold after an investigation.
Yeah, a lot of people know that name, and we did a series of reports on Colorado's impound empire. Last year, the Attorney General found Wyatt's Towing engaged in deceptive and unfair business practices. That company has since closed. So meanwhile, Colorado lawmakers have been really cracking down on what they call our state's predatory towing problem, with the Towing Bill of Rights in 2022 and even more protections in 2024.
And with that more enforcement, new laws in place, is predatory towing still an issue?
Well, I'll say Denver 7 Investigates still gets some towing complaints. It's not perfect, but it's nothing like we used to get. Booting seems to be the next frontier.
I'm glad to see there's some more protections starting to go in place for that as well.
Thank you for your work on this, Jacqueline.
Thank you, Jacqueline.